morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, and I want to open us up this morning, or afternoon, evening. Welcome you all here. We're excited to have you here. This is our fourth session for the 2025 Report Out Community Tour. So thank you for coming on this rainy evening. I am the City Strategic Plan Manager, and I'm joined this evening by Councilmember Bailey and our Chief of Staff, Jamie Fabos. We are happy to be here to talk with you about issues, ideas, concerns related to our strategic plan progress. And we are especially grateful to be in this space. The TCA staff has been tremendous in partnering with us to host and to help us coordinate tonight's event. So we thank you very, very much for your hospitality. As I said, tonight is a part of our citywide journey designed to mark the midpoint of Mayor Yemi's first term through reflection, real conversation with you all, and intentional listening. Unlike a traditional town hall, this evening is really about thoughtful, structured, deepened dialogue with you, and a way for us to hear meaningful exchange of information. We sincerely thank Councilmember Bailey for joining us, and he will be helping us lead tonight's dialogue with some insight and some specific care. So our format tonight gives you all and us city team members and leaders a unique opportunity to really collaborate with you in real time about a number of things, but really to hear your concerns, explore solutions, and build shared understanding about our 5 strategic priority areas that are really guiding and undergirding our city's progress. So our 5 strategic priority areas are public safety, infrastructure, housing solutions, economic vitality, and community activation. We also know and fully acknowledge many of you are here because you have deep concerns and passions around the amphitheater and World Pines. We acknowledge that these are very pressing issues, and we want to ensure that there is respectful space for you to have discussions about that, while we also are supporting your fellow neighbors and talking about a range of other priorities that are important to them as well. So I'm here to help navigate us this evening through a shared benefit that we all have in our love for this city, through thoughtful conversation and deep insight. Before we begin fully, I want to share with you Mayor Yemi will unfortunately not be with us this evening. He is under the weather, and so he's taking care of himself and his health. However, and I can understand you have passions around that, and we do as well. We want our mayor strong and healthy, and so we support him in taking care of himself. However, he sends his warm regards and his gratitude for you all being here. As I stated, we have Chief Jamie here, and she will speak on his behalf and represent him throughout the evening through our important session. So, let's talk about our shared commitment tonight with you, between us. All voices are welcome to be shared, and we value you, and we want to hear mutual respect with our shared perspectives. This is a solutions-oriented space, so we want to hear challenges, yes, as well as ideas for progress to move us forward. Please help us stay on time. We'll be using a timer to keep our dialogue flowing and moving along. Facilitators are here to support meaningful and respectful conversations, and I'll talk a little bit about why the facilitators are here and how they'll help us this evening. So, more specifically on the format. So to ensure the structure is able to elicit your direct input on and for our city's next steps, we are going to proceed in this way. We'll give opening remarks. Chief Jamie and Councilmember Bailey will do that. We'll participate in some live polling to identify your thoughts around some top community priorities. Staff won't participate in this polling because we really want to hear from you. Then we will proceed to participating in some breakout discussions organized around our 5 city priorities. So when you all registered or when you came in this evening, you identified the priorities that you would like to discuss. Priority 1 and priority 2. We were going to do our best to accommodate that priority you had designated as 1 and that you had designated as 2. However, we are anticipating having 110 of you. So we will do our best to make shifts so that you can speak on the priority area that is important to you. Then we will come back into this space and Councilmember Bailey and Chief Jamie will give closing reflections on what they heard from the live polling, as well as what they heard while you all were discussing during your table discussions. And then we'll have closing remarks, and this will be a time once we conclude that you can also have some time with expert staff that we have in the space to address some of your key concerns. So, some housekeeping. Restrooms are out from in the atrium space upon when you came in. We do have refreshments for you. TCA staff has asked that we keep those refreshments out in the atrium space, so they will be set up when you go out into the breakout discussions. You can bring the water in as long as you keep the cap on. Exits are also outside of this space, and there's some in the rear if we need those. And again, we'll be using timers to help us keep on schedule. I want to be really respectful of your time because it is an evening weeknight. So, I want to introduce Councilmember Bailey to officially welcome you to the district and our session. So if you could, please join me in welcoming Councilmember Tom Bailey, and he will introduce Chief Jamie.
Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate that. Thank you, and welcome everyone. It's great to have all of you here, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here to share in the conversation that we want to have tonight or continue tonight about the future of our city. And we're lucky. Unfortunately, the mayor isn't here, but Courtney really undersold it because the text I got from him was, I'm on my way to the emergency room. Doctor said I had to go for some tests. So he's not just under the weather. And regardless of whether you voted for him or what you think of him, a little respect for somebody who's having some health issues is probably worthwhile. Again, thank you so much for so many of you to come out here. I think I've heard that this is by far the largest of these events. I'm shocked that so many of you turned out for this. But seriously, we knew that we have a lot of passion in this district, a lot of passion in this audience, and that's important that we channel that and use that productively. It's my honor to represent this district, and I'm pleased that I can see a few of you that might have even voted for me to get into this position. So thank you to those of you who have, and to those of you who haven't, maybe I can convince you that I'm not such a bad guy after all. We're lucky tonight to have quite a few people from the administration here, and I want to just introduce a few of them. First of all, one of my colleagues on City Council, David Lineweber, stand up and let people see who you are. Councilman Lineweber is one of the three
Am I going to be in the way if I sit over here?
represent the city at large. So he doesn't have a district to represent, but he's attending several of these to get a feel for those issues that are important to all of our citizens, not just in any one district. So David, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. We also have quite a number of city staff, both outside facilitating and many of them in here, and most of them are pretty senior staff, to include Jamie, the chief of staff. If you are a city employee, city staff member, please stand up. I'm going to point out a couple of you just to give everyone in the audience an idea of some of the firepower that you've got. I know many of you know the Deputy Chief of Staff for Infrastructure and Development, Travis Easton. I know you spent a lot of time with him. And I appreciate Travis taking that time to work with you to address your concerns. We have Rich Milady, I don't remember your title, but Mr. Pothole over here. We have Kevin Walker, who's the director of the planning director. We have Amy Cox, who's the housing and homelessness director. Natalie Lovell, who is the city auditor. Britt Haley over here. I'm not going to get everybody, but just look around the room. Parks, Britt is Parks. Look around the room, see these people who are standing here. They work for you. And in my short time on city council...
Where's the police and public safety, Councilman? Somebody to talk about crime.
Well,
Here is from CSPD, and she will be facilitating the public safety.
She will be facilitating the public safety table. We also have Keith here, and he will be facilitating public safety as well. We'll have 2 rounds of discussion to aid you in having conversations around public safety. So thank you for asking that question.
we obviously can't have everybody on the city staff here. Everybody's got different issues, but one of the things that I've noticed in the short time that I've been in City Hall and working and learning about what's going on in the city is just how fortunate we are to be here in District 2. The facilities that we have, the support that we have, the infrastructure that we have is almost embarrassingly better than what exists in the rest of the city. And it's important that we remember that because, yes, we all have the issues that we feel passionate about. We have things that concern us, and these are very real personal concerns. I get that. But tonight is part of a conversation that needs to transcend some of that to look at the things that affect this city more broadly. I've said several times that I didn't take this job to do stuff for the next election. My focus is on the next generation. And I want to do things, I want to help move this city forward for the next generation, not just for the next 2 or 4 or 6 years. So that's my focus, and that's what I think is important. But tonight's more about what you think is important, and that's what we're going to focus on. So I think I'm going to turn it over now to Jamie. Jamie Fabos is the Chief of Staff. She does a great job keeping the staff and the city administration running for the mayor, and very appropriately, you get to do that right now in real time. So Jamie, thank you for being here. And
thank you. And thank you, especially Councilman Bailey, for being here collaboratively with the city administration, and Councilman Lineweber. We really value our relationship with City Council. While you might see all sorts of fighting in Washington, DC, that is not the model we try to emulate. We really appreciate that we have council partners who are willing to work together in a nonpartisan way to move our city forward. So I would like to take a moment to offer a thank you to the Classical Academy for having us here. As Councilman Bailey said, this is a beautiful facility. It takes me back to my high school theater days, except my stage was not nearly this nice. So as far as thank yous, Dr. Robert Thomason, the president of Classical Academy, Kevin Pocht and Tisha Harris are our hosts this evening, and let's give them a round of applause. So to everyone who came here tonight and braved this weather, thank you for coming out. I know your time is valuable, and you made a choice to be here. Time is a scarce resource, and we thank you for spending yours with us. Your presence speaks volumes about your commitment to the city, and we are truly grateful. This Friday, I can't believe this, will mark 2 years in office for Mayor Yemi. And so tonight is something of a halftime report, a chance to reflect on what we've done and what lies ahead and the challenges that we will face in the next 2 years. One of those challenges, and I want to address it, we know there are people here tonight who are here for one specific issue. And as Courtney said, we are going to address all the issues to make sure that everyone has a chance to talk about the topic they're most interested in. But I would be remiss if I did not address the Ford Amphitheater, and so I'm going to take a little break from the mayor's speech to give you an update there. We know this is a very personal issue for many of you. We know there are a lot of different opinions, and so I'm going to give you an update. The city wants to be a great listener. We want to engage with you on the challenges and opportunities. We want to consider all perspectives, and we want to take a goal to be more responsive. Last December, we hosted a listening session to hear directly from you, to learn and understand the thoughts around the city and the Ford Amphitheater. We worked collaboratively with the Ford Amphitheater's ownership to identify and agree on solutions. In January, we signed a sound mitigation and monitoring agreement with Venue that enhances mitigation and monitoring and provides clear oversight and reporting requirements. I know many of you have spoken to Travis Easton about those efforts. 5 monitoring stations are recording concert noise data currently, including 3 additional monitoring stations that were provided by Venue and approved by the city with a consultation of sound professionals. These stations are located near neighborhoods where residents provided comments on noise levels. Venue also has finished construction of the additional sound wall barriers on the north and south sides of the amphitheater, among other new mitigation measures such as optimizing the direction, placement, and testing of speakers depending on performance type. Sound reports from the first 3 shows of the 2025 season are now available. According to the data, Venue is not subject to penalties as outlined in the January 2025 agreement. We are grateful for Venue's commitment to working with the neighbors of the Ford Amphitheater. To the residents who feel their quality of life is being impacted and who have asked for change to the noise hardship permit and additional mitigation, we hear you. And to the residents who enjoy the benefits of the new venue, we hear you as well. We are continuing to monitor the sound levels and are committed to creating an environment of human flourishing, economic prosperity, and cultural vibrancy in our city. We will continue to provide report outs on the sound levels. Those are available actually publicly on the website.
Okay, after your comments, and we're going to save those for our discussion time. Thank you.
Okay, to transition to the updates. We are here tonight to talk about what we have done with your feedback that we received in 2023. Ultimately, the feedback provided was incorporated into 3 key documents. The 2024-2028 City Strategic Plan was put into place at the start of this administration. Plans are great, but plans must be partnered with action. To that end, we also put into place the 2024 Strategic Doing Action Plan and the 2025 Strategic Doing Action Plan. For the report out tonight, I'll be sharing a brief update on the progress of each of those action plans. First, the city's vision. The city's vision is to be a safe, economically prosperous, culturally rich, welcoming, and vibrant, world-class American city on a hill that shines brightly. We bring our vision to life through intentional action across 5 strategic pillars: public safety, infrastructure, housing and homelessness, economic vitality, and community activation. And that's where strategic doing comes in. Our strategic doing report for 2024, our major accomplishments from last year across all 5 pillars, is published on the city's webpage. Just go to coloradosprings.gov and search strategic plan. And we are actively working on our full list of 2025 actions, also on the city's webpage. There are a total of 101 action items intentionally connected to those 5 strategic pillars. First and foremost, we heard you, public safety. Public safety is the most essential function of city government. In fact, it's one of the only ones that no other organization can provide. We've advanced our public safety efforts in meaningful ways, including hiring 222 new police officers, putting our police staffing over 800 for the first time in our city's history. The police department also launched the Real-Time Crime Center and a pilot program called Drone as a First Responder to enhance situational awareness, reduce emergency response times, and improve both public and officer safety in real time. The Colorado Springs Fire Department, led by Randy Royal, who is the International Fire Chief of the Year, broke ground on Fire Station 24 on the north side and opened Fire Station 25 in the southeast. Our fire department also successfully launched the state's first whole blood program and saved 69 lives in the first year. The innovative program allows paramedics to carry whole blood and deliver life-saving transfusions to patients before they arrive at the hospital. Our enduring challenge remains securing funding and resources needed to fully support public safety. This includes investing in personnel, equipment, training, and technology to ensure our police, fire, and emergency responders can meet the evolving needs of our growing city. Next, investing in infrastructure. And Rich Milady's title is not actually pothole guy, but he probably feels like it is. The climate in Colorado is extremely hard on asphalt. High elevation, harsh environment, and between 100 to 200 freeze-thaw cycles per year can rapidly stress pavement. That results in potholes, one of the key issues that our community wants fixed. And it's an issue that we hear about a lot in the mayor's office. This is a top priority. To date, in 2025, we have had 2,806 pothole requests and have filled 38,382 potholes. In 2024, we completed 94,000, and in 2023, we completed over 85,000. In 2022, completed 60,313. But we can't fix potholes unless we know where they are. So, this is an ad to please report a pothole by going to the Go COS app. It's free on the App Store. You can call 719-385-ROAD or visit the city's website, coloradosprings.gov. Please do not do this while you are driving, but do this when you are safely parked. The overwhelming passage of ballot measure 2C with more than 73% approval reflects strong community support and ensures another 10 years of essential road repair and maintenance by our public works team, all without raising taxes. This does not mean the potholes are going to go away. Potholes are symptoms. But doing the major work of 2C will make better roads and hopefully lessen the potholes that we do face every season. We are also taking major capital improvement programs across the city, like the replacement of the Circle Drive Bridge replacement, one of the 4 longest bridges in the city, and widening Mark Shuffle Road. This year, the Keep It Clean COS program has cleaned up more than 55,000 tons of trash from streets, parks, waterways, enough to fill over 1,300 dump trucks. Thank you to those of you who came out on Saturday and joined our first citywide cleanup effort at Midland Trail. Through that cleanup, we had over 100 people show up, including some of our youngest residents and a lot of our city staff. The impact was 25 truckloads of trash, or 3,000 pounds of trash removed from that area just west of downtown. The Colorado Springs Airport continues to expand air service and nonstop flight options, including, for the first time, international travel. Starting June 7th, you can fly direct from COS to Cancun. So you will have 4 days to pack your bags. We've also invested in our city parks, including major accessibility upgrades and a new water line system in Garden of Gods Park, an essential enhancement for both visitor safety and wildfire prevention. More news for your district. We broke ground on the new Greyhawk Park right here in Northeast Colorado Springs and are working on our parks master plan. So please make sure you provide your feedback to ensure we're hearing where we should be investing our limited resources to help improve parks across our city. Next, let's discuss housing and homelessness. The availability and affordable housing in the Pikes Peak region remains a critical issue. This year, we are working on an in-depth housing needs assessment to fully understand our housing need for new college grads, senior citizens looking to downsize, and for our workforce pillars: teachers, clerks, nurses, military members, police officers, and firefighters. We are investigating promising solutions to include manufactured or prefab homes, which are faster to build and more cost-effective, yet they retain excellent building quality, just like traditionally built homes. The potential here is very exciting. We are also working on promising solutions with our churches and school districts to utilize excess land to build housing for those in need. And I have to say that before the state passed legislation that it called YIGBY, Yes in God's Backyard, we had already accomplished this with a project in the Southeast. We are executing our city's new homelessness response action plan. We're making a positive impact on homelessness through focused enforcement and regular cleanups, street outreach for mental health services and addiction recovery, and connections to housing and supportive services. And for 2025, we expanded our homeless outreach team and add additional team to add more camp cleanups in our city. Next, economic vitality. Colorado Springs' economy is on a strong upward trajectory, growing 8.5% last year and 30% over the last 5 years. The city approved 8 major economic development agreements, driving $650 million in investment, $24 million in projected new revenue, and nearly 900 new jobs. These are worth celebrating, but let's be real, this year is proving to be a different story. We are seeing signs of a slowing economy, something of the likes of 2020, and even 2008. We are paying close attention. We are also deepening our commitment to a small business-friendly city by expanding resources to include Business Navigator, Permit Partner, and COS Open for Biz. Furthermore, we hired a dedicated small business development administrator to champion and support local entrepreneurs. Last but not least, community vitality. We're very proud of the progress we have made to mobilize community members just like you to take ownership of their own flourishing and drive positive change. Last summer, we called on our community to help build a city of great neighbors and neighborhoods by encouraging 1,000 neighborhood gatherings focused on connection and mental well-being. The response was incredible, with events taking place in every part of the city. And our efforts to create a city of great neighbors is being recognized nationally. We were recently named the #1 most neighborly city in America. We plan to continue this campaign in new ways in 2025, so keep an eye out for those efforts. Thanks to the leadership of First Lady Abby Mobilati and Councilmember Lineweber, the city also helped launch Pikes Peak Rising, a regional collaborative effort involving over 40 organizations united in tackling mental health head-on. One of the initiative's key tools is Pikes Peak Rising 360, Colorado's first public-facing mental health web portal. It connects residents with trusted local mental health and wellness resources. So if you or someone you love needs support, it's a great place to start. Together, we are building a city of great neighbors and neighborhoods, a city that is safe, economically prosperous, culturally rich, and welcoming. A vibrant, world-class American city on a hill that shines brightly. We look forward to hearing from you today and hearing your inputs that can help impact policy and meaningful progress. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Courtney for our engagement segment.
For our live polling. I don't know how many of you have experienced the Kahoot platform, but you're going to get a nice treat tonight. I am asking you, if you care to participate, to scan this QR code or visit www.kahoot.it and put in that game pin 5969229 to play the game. And so this game allows us to hear your feelings about how we as a city are progressing around our 5 priority areas. And we have about 3 questions to ask you per priority area, with 3 outside priority area questions, just to gauge your understanding of how we allocate resources and who's attended tonight that is representing or living in this district. So, as you can see, behind the QR code, many of you are jumping on to participate in the Kahoot Live polling. The number of participants is down at the bottom. Right now it says 25. And you can log on anonymously, or you can add your real name. Our staff will not be participating in the Kahoot polling, so we do not skew the numbers. So I'll give you a couple more moments to jump on. Thank you. Wi-Fi. Yes, Max. So there is available free Wi-Fi here at TCA. You go to the username TCA guest, and you will have a screen pop up, and you'll just click that box. You don't have to put in a password. That'll help you stay logged into the game. So we can send a staff person around to help assist you. If you please raise your hand for those that need assistance, I'll have someone come and help you.
I'm trying to. I see it.
So we'll have you navigate to your settings and to identify the Wi-Fi options. You're looking for TCA guest. Anybody else need a staff member to help? No? Okay. It's not loading on the app?
Courtney, there's a browser. For those of you guys who are trying to connect to the internet, there's a second browser. So when you guys connect to the internet, it forces a web page up for TCA, and you have to accept their terms and conditions.
So there's no password, but the browser will pop up and there'll be a checkbox in the center asking you to accept. So Keith is coming to you. So anyone else having this issue, Keith will come or someone else will come to help you. Kim is available to help as well. Oh, wow, we've popped up to 46. As we start the game, if you want to jump off or you haven't yet jumped on and you want to participate, you can do that as well. Just kind of wave your hand and I'll send a staff member to you. So, we're getting started. It's giving us a countdown to the first question. So our first question is around your familiarity with which district you're from. You should know that, but are you a representative of this district? Do you live in this district? Yes or no? So that question will come up in a minute. There we go. Do you live in the city council district where this session is being held? That's the first question. So, many of you, those are 50 people have answered thus far, and it's counting down. So we give you a countdown to provide you room to give us your answer. As we move along through the game, you'll notice that many of you will get really quick with this and do so in a lot less time. So, 81% of you, yes, live in this district. 19%, 10 of you, no. So that gives us a perspective of who is providing us feedback in this district. Is it a resident of this district? So thank you. Next question will be all about public safety. We have 3 there. This is really to focus on us on gaining an understanding of how you feel around trust, balance, innovation in policing, and emergency responsiveness. The question, how confident are you in the city's ability to respond effectively to emergencies? Those are fire, police, natural disasters, and so forth. Extremely confident, very confident, moderately confident, slightly confident, or not confident at all. So many of you are answering those questions, and here's our countdown. Now we have our results. So 40% of you are moderately confident about the city's responsiveness, and 24% very confident, 18% slightly confident, 11% not confident at all, and 7% extremely confident. So it'll be interesting for us as staff to see how these numbers are different by district. All of this information will be shared with you upon the conclusion of our tour in the next few weeks. Okay, next question. How safe do you feel in your neighborhood during the day? Is it extremely safe, very safe, moderately safe, slightly safe, or not safe at all? What we're going to be doing in our discussion groups is really delving a little bit deeper into your response to these questions. We want to know a little bit more of why you feel this way. And so we're counting down. And so overwhelmingly, this group feels 46% very safe, followed by a tie of extremely safe and moderately safe at 21%, slightly safe at 7%, and then 4% not safe at all, just 2 of you. Again, this is our 4th district, so we've heard different percentages in other districts. So you can think about what that feels like with your fellow residents located across town. Last question for this priority area. How important is it to invest in community-based safety initiatives such as neighborhood watch, violence prevention, and youth programs? Extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, or not important at all? So, it's interesting to watch that answer and the time. So, we have a few more people that we're waiting for to answer as it counts down. All right, so overwhelmingly 45% of you believe that this is very important, so that's 25 people. Slightly important at 20%. Then we have a tie at extremely important and moderately important at 16%, and finally not important at all at 4%, so that was just 2 of you. Thank you. Moving from public safety on to infrastructure, here we're gaining an understanding of your thoughts around our resiliency, sustainability, connectivity, and modernization efforts. The first question, how satisfied are you with street and road maintenance in your area? So I'm begging for kindness, given the time of year it is. We've got a lot of faith. But really, do you feel satisfied, very satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very satisfied? Or very dissatisfied. This is known as pothole season, I think, just based on all of the drying out and the wet, so. Okay, so we have 41% of you dissatisfied, very consistent with the other districts, followed by 21% at neutral, tied with very dissatisfied and satisfied at 14%, and then very satisfied at 9%. Thank you, 5 people that said very satisfied. Next question. How well is the city planning for future infrastructure needs, such as broadband, smart systems, electric vehicle readiness? Very well, well, neutral, poorly, or very poorly? Dun, 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 dun. All right, so 52% of you are neutral on this, so 29 of you. We've got 23% at poorly, well at 18%, and very poorly at 7%. So as I said, we'll be digging in a little bit deeper as to how or why some answered in the extremes options. Third and final question for infrastructure. So, how satisfied are you with the quality and upkeep of the city's parks, open spaces, and trails near you? Is it very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied? All right. We've got 39% of you at satisfied, 25% at neutral, followed by very satisfied at 23%, dissatisfied at 9%, and very dissatisfied at 4%. Our next question, please. This is our housing solutions priority area. We really want to gauge your thoughts on affordability, accessibility, stability, and neighborhood vitality. In these questions, getting your thoughts on development in different parts of the city, including this part of the city. So, the first question. How concerned are you about housing affordability in Colorado Springs? Is it very concerned, extremely concerned, moderately concerned, slightly concerned, or not concerned at all? All right, so we have 27% of you very concerned, followed by 19% at moderately concerned. Oh, I missed one. Not concerned at all, 21%. Then 19% at moderately concerned, followed by extremely concerned at 17%, and then slightly concerned at 15%. So this is a little bit different from our previous sessions. Second question, how supportive are you of new housing developments in your neighborhood that include affordable housing options? Strongly supportive, supportive, neutral, opposed, or strongly opposed?
So when you say that, are you talking about our tax money building these affordable units?
Great question. We can talk about that more in your discussion group.
I think you should say that now so we know what we're voting on.
Voting, how supportive you are of new housing developments in your neighborhood that include affordable housing options? So, just generally, how supportive are you of it? With or without? Thank you. So if you don't feel comfortable answering that question here and you'd like to talk about it further during our discussion, we can do that. So, 29% of you are strongly opposed. There's a tie between supportive and neutral at 22%, and then strongly supportive and opposed tie at 14%. So, obviously we're going to be digging a little bit deeper into that question. The last question for this priority area, how effective are the city's partnerships and strategies in addressing homelessness and housing instability in our community? Extremely effective, very effective, moderately effective, slightly effective, not effective at all. So, slightly effective at 42%, followed by not effective at all at 36%, moderately effective at 14%, and then a tie between extremely effective and very effective at 4%. Next priority area, economic vitality. Here we're trying to gain an awareness of your thoughts concerning our workforce readiness, business climate, innovation, and inclusive growth. First question, how would you rate the city's efforts to support local businesses and entrepreneurs? Excellent, good, fair, poor, or very poor? All right, so 38% feel good, followed by 36% at fair, tie between excellent and poor at 11%. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. And then finally, very poor at 4%. Next question. How important is it for the city to focus on workforce development and job training programs? Extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, not important at all. Bless you. All right. Overwhelmingly, we have 25% at not important at all, followed by extremely important at 23%, followed by very important at 21%, slightly important at 16%, and then moderately important at 14%. Okay. Last question for economic vitality. How well are economic opportunities shared across different neighborhoods and populations? Is it very well, well, neutral, poorly, or very poorly? So, neutral wins at 42%, followed by poorly at 26%, very poorly at 13%, very well and well a tie at 9%. So understanding a little bit more about the neutral in our discussion. Last strategic priority area is community activation. So we'd like to gain an understanding of your thoughts around civic engagement, inclusivity, volunteerism, and quality of life. So first question, how connected do you feel to your neighborhood and local community? Very connected, extremely connected, moderately connected, slightly connected, or not connected at all? All right, we have a tie between slightly connected and very connected at 30%, but followed closely with moderately connected at 29%, and then extremely connected at 7%, and not connected at all at 4%. Second question. How likely are you to participate in city programs, services, or volunteer opportunities, or volunteer efforts? Extremely likely, very likely, somewhat likely, slightly likely, or not likely at all? So we have 29% at somewhat likely, followed by not likely at all, then very likely at 20%, slightly likely at 16%, and then extremely likely at 13%. Okay. Final question for community activation priority area. How well does the city reflect resident input in its decision-making? Fitting question, I know. Very well, well, neutral, poorly, very poorly. Not taking you all long to answer this one. We try. So, very poorly at 64%, followed by neutral at 16%, poorly at 14%, and 5% at well. So we'll talk more about that, like all the others, in our breakout discussions. Two final questions. One is to help us gain an understanding of your awareness about the allocation of city resources. So, first question, how well do you understand how the city budget works and how it funds are allocated? Very well, well, neutral, not well at all. All right, we have 29% not well at all. That's some feedback for us on how we can help enlighten you on our resources and the allocation. Not well at all at 27%. There's a tie, which I'll get to, and then neutral at 18%, and a tie here between very well and well at 13%. And so we find that's really important for you to understand the allocation of resources, where our funds come from, and what becomes a priority in terms of our spending. So we'll spend some time figuring out how to share that with you. Final question. Which of these should be the city's top priority for 2026? Public safety, infrastructure, housing, economic vitality, and community activation, or. Okay, 54% is public safety, followed by infrastructure at 22%, housing at 11%, community activation at 7%, and economic vitality at 6%. Through the districts we've visited thus far, it's been a tie or a flip-flop between the districts between infrastructure, public safety, and housing. But this is definitely the highest percentage for this district at 54% with public safety. So these questions will help guide the discussion group conversations that we'll have momentarily. I want to talk about what we're preparing to do right now. I want to thank you too for sharing this input with us. As I said, all of this input will be provided back to you over the next few weeks. You shared an email address with us, and so we will email you. You will also be able to check on our website, and you will see a summary report from this district and all the other districts as well. So, what we'll do now is take a deeper dive into what matters to you based on how you've answered and some of the thoughts and the concerns and the ideas that you've come in with. And so these discussions are going to take place outside of the auditorium in the atrium space where you saw the tables. We are trying to keep comfortable seating, and so we will have 2 rounds of discussion. There will be 2 tables dedicated to each priority group. And so there will be a table facilitator there, as well as a scribe, and they will be gathering and helping to guide you through that conversation. Once these breakout groups complete, we'll convene back in this space. And you'll hear from Chief Jamie, as well as Councilmember Bailey, on what they heard and the takeaway, and what your input will help guide. And I'll again share when you'll be able to receive this feedback information. I will be timing, I'll be out there with you, helping to provide you, find you the experts that can answer your questions. If you don't feel satisfied with the answer you are getting at your table. And so each round is 22 minutes. I'll give you a halfway point. And then the timer will go off and you'll have an opportunity to go to the next priority area and provide your specific ideas and feedback. So we can all go out into the atrium space now and find your priority. We hope that the questions, the concerns, the ideas that you came in with, you were able to share with your table facilitator, and we will have that information, and I will compile summaries, as I shared with you earlier. This time, we're going to transition to Councilmember Bailey and Chief Jamie to share with you their reflection on what they heard of your concerns during the live polling, as well as during the breakout discussion, and then we will conclude. If you feel, as you head out, there's something that you wanted to share, there is a comment box with some paper next to it. Just write your note on there, stick it in that comment box, and I will review and read through those and make sure that's included in this district summaries. So let me turn it over to Councilmember Bailey.
Thank you again, Courtney. Thank you for moderating this for us and trying to keep it all moving. I appreciate that. In the interest of time, we've all been here for a long time, and I'm going to just keep my remarks fairly brief. Thank you again for being here, and even if you're here for one main reason, your inputs on everything else and the polling, participating in the polling, is a big help. And we need to hear that. We want to hear what you think about those other issues in addition to the ones that you came here for. So, not that we're not listening to that, but this is more important in a broad sense for the rest of the city. And again, I think that's important. Just a couple things. It occurred to me as I'm walking around the table, or actually first during the polling, the discussion is critical because two people could vote to be, extremely unsatisfied or extremely dissatisfied for exactly opposite reasons. And on some of these questions, it's not clear what you were disagreeing with or not, so that the extra conversation was important. And we'll get reports on that, and we'll be able to see how those conversations went so we can identify a little bit better what you really think about some of those issues. The other observation is, as you saw from the polling, there's not much that we all agree on. There's a range of opinions on almost everything. And that's okay, because we're all different. We all bring our different perspectives into this. And so just recognizing that even if we're all here united in opposition to the amphitheater, even those people with even that group with the same basic concern have different views on everything else that we talked about tonight. And so, echoing what Courtney said, having a civil discussion about the issues is important, and I think that's what we need to try to focus on as a city and as a district as we go forward, is to be able to understand that we may disagree, but we shouldn't be disagreeable when we do it. And so I thank you all for your participation tonight. I thank you for doing that. I will point out, some of the, I saw a report today, and when we talk about economic development, economic vitality, permits in May, there were permits for $10 million worth of commercial construction within about a 3-mile radius of where we're standing right now. And again, as I said earlier, we are very fortunate in this district to have that kind of investment, to have that kind of growth that keeps this part of the city a vital place to be. It's going to attract new people, it's going to attract a lot of economic things. I heard talk about we'd like new restaurants, in Briargate. Wouldn't it be nice to have some more local restaurants instead of everything's a chain, right? we need to work on those kinds of things, and the kind of development, the kind of investment that's coming to our district will help with that. And I think that's a good thing. Finally, I don't know if you heard, but the 4th of July celebration that the city has done for the last several years, one of the locations is going to be right here in District 2, and the Philharmonic is going to be here. The Star Spangled Symphony on 4th of July evening with the symphony and fireworks is going to be right up here in District 2. That's a good thing to be part of that rotation of venues across the city, something that we haven't had before.
Is it John Venetia Park? Where will it be? John Venetia Park?
No,
Oh, where is it?
no, it'll be up over here at the amphitheater where there's a stage.
Jay Duggan said no more fireworks last year.
So anyway, I think that's a good thing. Celebrating the 4th of July, we should all be able to get behind that, even if we don't agree with some things. Celebrating with bands and fireworks is the best way that we can acknowledge our freedom and all that we've worked for. And so I think it's a good thing for this area. And again, it's part of a broader city approach that a lot of people have been working really hard on. And so I think it's a good thing. Enjoy the fireworks with us in a couple of weeks. And Jamie.
Thank you. Well, first, thank you for accepting me as a stand-in tonight. I know I'm not as much fun, but pleased to be here with you, and praying my 13-year-old daughter did not burn down the house while she was making dinner. So thank God for rain. What I took from you guys tonight, on the positive, you feel really good about police and safety in this neighborhood. That's great to hear. That is one of the biggest challenges we face. We will continue to face as our city grows, and it is the top priority of Mayor Yemi to continue resourcing and supporting our public safety professionals. You feel good about parks. I know Britt loves to hear that. We love our parks in Colorado Springs. You are concerned about homelessness and housing. Me too. I live downtown. And the mayor's office, I sit right across from the receptionist. And so I hear the phone calls that come in. And I will tell you, you are in good company. People are very concerned about homelessness, not only from the compassion side, but from the impacts it has on our parks and trails. That is very serious, and we are working very hard on solutions. One of the tables I sat at, you guys had some really great creative solutions to homelessness. I know Amy loved to hear that. That's what it's going to take. Cities across the country and across the world have not solved homelessness, so we are open to any new ideas to try and fix that complex issue. I also heard that you are hungry for community input, to have your voices heard. Hear you there. Like Councilman Bailey said, we all have different opinions. That's okay. Many of you I see in the audience tonight have come to City Council. We hear you there, we hear you here. Of course, you can email, you can use the app, you can call our offices. And I heard that there's a little difficulty understanding the budget. Budgets in Colorado are ridiculously complex. We have this thing called TABOR that is unique to Colorado. I've shared with other chiefs of staff from other states, and they look at me like I'm crazy, that we are that budget limited, kind of fighting with both hands behind our back. But it's a reality. And so I know that handout that our finance folks provided with the dollar bill on it hopefully gives some insight. You can also visit our website. There's a lot of resources there to understand where we spend the money that we get, mainly which comes from sales tax. So I hope you will engage. Budget season kicks off in July. We, along with your council members, will be making some really difficult decisions, especially in these economic times. So I do hope you'll tune in. We welcome your input at city council meetings. There are special sessions to come and give input. So please tell us how to spend those resources that you provide. Again, thank you for coming out. Please drive carefully getting home, and I will let Courtney close us.
Thank you, both Councilman Bailey and Chief Jamie. Thank you for coming out. There were business cards of mine and colleagues on the table when you came in, and we encourage you to pick those up. If you think of anything that you want to share, that you want us to be aware of, we would like to know. Please hold us accountable for our progress. across our strategic priorities by visiting our website and keeping track of our 101 strategic doing actions for 2025. That speaks to why this input was so important. In November timeframe, we'll be gathering together as a team and determining what we will be doing for 2026. And we want to base that off of what you all shared with us. So we'll look at how successful we were in 2025, what we weren't able to accomplish, look at your feedback, and see what we can incorporate for 2026. So thank you again for coming out tonight. We hope you have a safe evening home.